to be content with this moment as it is your nature. This is the deepest aspect of you. Everything else that belongs to identity is just ripples on the surface. All the thoughts and ideas in time, trying to become, fix, hope, all those belong to imagination. And if you dwell on the past with nostalgia or with trauma, that's also just ideas. The recognition of this moment is the core of the experience. You might still see yourself as a person moving about in time, but when you recognize this aspect of the experience, there is something in you that starts to relax, that starts to open to it. Most of us just recognize the surface of our mind. Always listening to thoughts, believing the emotional content and the surface thinking. But life is more than those surface level experiences. There is so much more depth in beingness itself. In this quality of the mind, there is spaciousness. There is the deep inherent experience of beingness. If you get lost in thoughts, you come back to recognizing that there is thinking. This is how you break the automatic patterns of the mind. The recognition of a thing makes you create space to it. Makes you into the observer of it. This is the first step. You can slowly open your eyes, move your body if you need to, stretch out your legs. When I first started meditating, I think I saw the world like most people look at it. They look at it as an external event, and my emotions like something that is in the way of that. I had a lot of anxiety, and I felt very crippled and anxious from these feelings. And I thought that meditation would just take me and fix me somehow. I read about it and it seemed very profound, but I had some feeling that this is a good thing. So I started to sit, I read some books on it, I started to sit a lot. And the anxiety did not go away, but I started to become present with it. And in a sense, I would say that I became more aware of the experience of being anxious, which in a sense made it actually worse. I got painfully aware of how my thoughts went, where they went to, all the dark places they went to, and the overwhelming sensation of the emotions. But the more I was with this, even though it initially felt very painful, it changed the whole experience. Because as soon as you start to observe your emotions, they become less personal. And this is the biggest part of what makes you suffer them. Because you feel like a victim of your emotions, of your thoughts. So when you can observe them, there is some space between you, the observer, and your emotions. And most people actually always talk about, they don't say that they are the emotion. They say that they have some relationship to it, which just shows that this is how we perceive it. And whatever the emotion is, if it's anger or shame or anxiety or whatever it is, it can always be observed. And at first, when you observe it, some days you will be able to see it clearly, and other days it just feels like it's in your face. There's no distance, really. You're so taken by it. You're so into the idea of victimhood around this emotion that you have no distance. And in the beginning, this takes some time. But if you stay with it, this changes. Meditation is absolutely the hardest in the beginning, because you see so little of the experience. You understand so little of it, so it's so easy to be taken by thoughts, taken by negative emotions, and just give up, because it feels so overwhelming. And the more you practice, the more it creates a momentum of breaking those habits. And it's very different, the experience of this for different people. For some people, they just need to hear it and they start to understand it. They apply it immediately. Some people are more thick-headed, like myself, and need a lot of practice before it sticks. But I never thought that what meditation ultimately would show me would be this. That the experience itself is not an external event, that is all in me. And whatever I think that I am is the biggest thing in my experience. And when the most beautiful part of it is when I am not there. When it's allowed to be spacious. When the experience itself is just unfolding without me as a creator or chooser or doer. That it just happens. This is what people, when they first get a hold of it, they say, it feels like I have great flow today. It feels like everything is going very nicely. It's just going according to my plans, it feels like. Because there is just deep acceptance of this moment. That is what that sense is. And this acceptance is such a deep part of it. It feels like the person relates to it as it thinks that it has to accept every detail of the experience. But it's not that kind of accepting. It's just allowing the experience to unfold as it unfolds. I think for me this was one of the most difficult things to get in alignment with. Because there's so much that says, I am doing my experience. Your thoughts say that, your emotional content have that gravitas with it. The whole feeling is that you are doing your life. But there is an aspect of it just happening. In every action you do, and you feel it sometimes. And it always feels very nice. If you practice yoga, you have for sure felt it, that the body is just moving by itself. You are just tagging along. You just see how it unfolds. For some people it happens when they sing, dance, paint. It is just happening. I make music with a friend sometimes, and he says when we make music, it says, this is the best moment of the week, because I forget everything else. There's just music in that moment. And that is such a beautiful way. He's not into meditation. He doesn't do any sadhana or any practices. But this thing he's fully he fully understands it. To just let go in sound and music. It's so easy to get caught on all these surface level things, think that they are important and how to gather them and how to create the perfect life. And in that, many of us miss that life is just unfolding beautifully, and every moment can be precious. Every meeting can be precious. Every person can be precious. I have told this story before, but I will tell it again because I like it so much. I went with my watch to have it repaired, and the watch repairman, we started to talk, and he was going to have surgery then, and it turned out that he had very aggressive cancer. He's fine now, but and I asked him if it had affected him in any way, and he said, "I have to tell you, people sometimes are angry with me when I repair the watch and it's not working perfectly. They come and take out their bad day, and I have to tell you, sometimes when they come and they're a bit upset with me, I just enjoy the moment so much. That there is an interaction with a person, that my life is still happening." He had gotten this deep gratitude. He didn't care so much of the surface level of things anymore. He just had this deep feeling, I am here. And this is also not a person that is spiritually inclined at all. It just naturally came to him. So the things that we talk about here, we can talk about them as non-dual meditation or Vedanta or something, and it sounds like a thing that you're learning, right? Sounds like I'm going to this class with Markus Atmananda and I'm learning meditation. But it's not really what is going on here. Because I'm just revealing what is already in you. This aspect that I'm talking about, this is your nature. This beingness in you is inherent in you. It's nothing new. It's nothing that you won't stick it on your personality. You can just find out by following these instructions. You can just see what is already here. And in the beginning, the mind will give you trouble because it will take it as a philosophy and it will try all different kind of things. It will hear that there's nothing to do, so it will try to surrender and it will do this and that and will have its ideas. At a certain point, the mind just, or your attempts just mature and you start to understand that, okay, I cannot do it, I cannot will it. There's something else that is happening here. What is that comes with that peace? Because if you practice a little, you notice that it comes sometimes. Sometimes it comes to you. It's very peaceful, it is there, it's just natural. So how do you bring it about? Does it help to will it? Does it help to force it in? Would it help to sit 10 hours a day? Willing it. It's not for sure that it would, because if all you do is enhancing the idea of the person trying to get to this peace, then it will just be super frustrating. And I can say that from trying. You get crazy from it. If you go into long retreats and you say, I'm really going to will this. I'm going to go to a 3-month retreat and just sit. I'm going to do it now. It's so harsh. It's so brutal. But in that, you start to understand that the idea of the doer is very, very limited. And when it comes to peace and your inherent happiness, there is only one thing: to be with the moment as it is. Sounds super simple. But for most, it is a lifetime in the making. And I notice a quality that is much more important than just wanting and willing. And that is to be sincere with it. And with that I mean, when you notice that something doesn't work, to change your practice, to try something else. Not just be thick-headed with it. And if the universe says, you need this, and it can be very obvious, but you don't like that practice. For me, it was the devotional part of it. I didn't like that. I want to be very frank with you. I didn't like that the universe was poking that to me. I felt no. The religions, I don't want to touch it. I came from a secular family, academics, we believe in science. This is how we do things. I don't want this. I was practicing, and I met a teacher called Raya Krishna, and he said, how is your practice going? And I said, it's going good, but I still worry a lot. And he said, that is just lack of faith. And I knew that that was what was lacking, but I didn't like it. Okay, I have to surrender to something bigger than myself, to the universe or Shiva or something. Okay. And I didn't like it because it also said, you're not in control. You're not doing this meditation. And everything in me knew this. I'd been practicing for 11 years, done a lot of retreats. I knew it at that point. And I didn't really understand what will it do for me? What is this faith part? But I tried it a little bit. I tried to sing bhajans. And slowly it came to me. And I started to realize that this is a part of surrendering. This is the part of being with the experience as it is. And the more I could abide in that, the more I could stay in that, the more I felt like the universe was just aligning with me. It just wanted to show me. It showed me my teacher, took me to him, all these things. But if I wouldn't have went through that, that would not have been possible. And I'm always going to be grateful to Raya Krishna for him pointing this very strongly to me. Like it was the most obvious thing. That part is important, but it will just happen. And I thought that I could go without it. And then you understand that there are two major things. You need to question the existence itself, what you believe yourself to be, what this experience is. All those things, contemplate on them. What is happiness? Who am I? All this, very good. But it will be a very, very dry path if you only do that. There has to be some love in it. There has to be devotion in it. There have to be some deep acceptance of the moment in it. And those two things together, I'm so happy that my guru showed me so much of this. And I got to be in context where all these things could be in alignment. And I saw that there is no conflict between them, that they really are like two wings of one bird. They make it fly. But you will do your practice as you believe it to be. And you will do the things that you believe in until you see something else. And I'm not here to convince you of anything. It's always an open, voluntary invitation. If you like 95% of what I say, take that to heart and discard the 5%. And we can see later what happens. Everything you need is already here. This is very difficult to accept. Because if your mind and your ideas are in time, you will say, but this can get better, and I can improve this, and if I only had this, then I would have much more possibilities for this and this, or perhaps even for spirituality, if I were just in this and this situation. But actually, those thoughts are in the way of this acceptance. They're allowed to happen as they happen. They can be dreams of the future, they can be, and I sometimes jokingly say that I hope that all your dreams will be crushed or fulfilled, so you notice that they are nothing. Because the more you will come into this moment, and it happens to many people when they come into some kind of crisis, that they have to look at what is here. So that is usually very beneficial. And many people that come and talk to me have went through something. They went through depression or death or something. Disease. But because what is your life if there is no time? If there is only this, if this would be your last day, would you do the same things as you do now? What if every moment was precious? Every meeting was precious. What would you talk about? Would you be honest and talk about real things, or would you just talk about the weather for another day? It's just a thought experiment to see what it is to be here. What is precious in your experience? Is every moment precious? Can it be allowed to be? Can every person be precious? And with that preciousness of the moment, what happens with your experience? Can you allow that experience that will come with that? Because if you allow this moment fully, there will be an effect of that. And that effect is that there will come spontaneously in this moment so much love. So the next question is, can you handle that? When that beauty comes in you and you notice that you are the source of love, it's not an external thing, it's not coming from your partner or some other experience outside, it is here. Can you be worthy of it? Can you allow it in this moment? Can you be the source of that? Will you doubt yourself in that? Will you stop yourself because it's too much? So many people in our society are close to their sense of love, but censor themselves in their speech, in their relationships with others, in how they feel, because they feel they're too much. This you have to also meet in meditation. We don't know ourselves, so that's why we self-censor, we cut ourselves short, we make ourselves small, all these things. But the more you see of this, the more you are in acceptance of it, then you can start to be with it. At first you might think that these feelings and that you are great somehow and it's very personal and you're saintly or whatever it is, you're such a great meditator. And you have to meet all of that. You meet all that arrogance, it comes out with it. So most people, when they start to dip their toes in this water, it's easy to say, I'm not ready. It's too much, this. So people tread gently. So they sit by the water. They look at it for a long time. Maybe tomorrow. And then they come into some crisis and they say, okay, let's go in. That's a common way that I have seen. And I'm never going to sugarcoat meditation like it's just going to be nice and it's going to be white-dressed people on a beach, or it's just going to be fun to fun to fun. Sometimes it's terrible. It's hard. It's challenging. And sometimes it shows you things that you didn't think were possible. And that there could be so much space in the experience, that you could feel so free. There are so many aspects of it that are not at least what I thought it would be. I thought it would be perhaps a way to fix my anxiety, to make me feel a little bit better. And instead, it showed me beingness itself. And that I had mistaken identity in thinking that I was a someone doing the world. The human potential of peace and inclusiveness is great, but most of us are obsessed by duality, by the idea of the person and how it relates to the external events, and how that idea of a person can profit from external events. It's such a super destructive process, and it's presented as normal life. And almost everyone is in that. And if you're not in that, you are a strange outlier. You're on the fringe of society somehow, and you do strange things. But the potential in the human experience is so great. So to not talk about it would be just sad. There has to be some space for it. Somewhere where we can meet in more than just a philosophy and in words. What is this beingness that is in the heart of everything. Why is the symbols that come with that beingness the same as the beingness? Why is my guru never gone? Why do I always feel like he is here? He's not this body, but Swami is always here. Because that is the quality of beingness. And I was in his presence so much, so I understood that he and the beingness itself is the same. It's not about anything personal or the person. If he walks around in Rishikesh in his body or not, it is the beingness of it. And if you have an intuitive sense that can relate to that, then you understand what I say. Otherwise, you will probably think I'm a bit crazy. And even people around me that might think that the things that I say are strange or a bit crazy, they still like me. He says, he's really nice to be around. Is there any questions today? Yes, Rebecca has a question.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a question about, you know, the story of the Buddha sitting under the tree when he's meditating to be enlightened.
Yes.
And all the dakinis come and they transform into something else. Then all the maras come, or whichever way, and they're like rushing with their spears, like, are they gonna kill him? I'm wondering if you have ever had an experience like this, and for you to speak a bit about encountering, like, not just fear but terror.
Yes.
And how to be. I make the story for myself that this is just a case of you have to keep going until one day maybe you can be with it.
Yes.
But I'd just like to hear your experiences with this.
Yes. Most people are not aware of it. We talk about fears in meditation, and most people are not aware of their fears that much. They wouldn't say that they're fearful at all, even though they walk around in society and all the time are affected by their fear. But when and as I described when I started to practice meditation, and anxiety started to be much more profound in a way, much more detailed, and I started to see what it is like a bodily sensation. This is also true with all the experiences of fear and shared, it could be really terror, especially when it comes to, there are three that I find to be the main fears. The fear of loneliness, the fear of going insane, and of death. Those are usually the heavy ones. And when those start to affect you very directly, it can feel like the body is dying. You have a sense like, if I'm continuing this road, the body will perish. It will die. The ego gives that sense because the ego death is so connected to the identity of the body. So it will give exactly those. And if you give this up, there's no more purpose to your life or all these. It will go to all the extremes of it and will feel really like terror. And usually, if you have practiced for a while, it will be obvious that they are just fears playing you. And if you still have a strong belief that there is an external world, you will point outside and say, it happens because of this and this. And that is a little bit of a maturity question also. If you start to notice that, okay, all the things, even though it seems like they have an external event connected to them, they are internally just happening. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, I would like to sing more.
Yes.
In the past, I have done some things with like lucid dreaming or trying to stay present to where you get caught in between sleep and awake and asleep.
Yes.
I had an experience many years ago where I had maybe like a sleep paralysis, and where I could have left my body and gone into my something, but this terror just took me, like, don't leave your body or something. It was a really big terror. And I recently had hypnosis that went really, really, really deep, and then up came extremely visceral experiences of kind of like a terror. And I think these experiences both have the same quality of, I'm not completely when I'm in my conscious mind state, I don't think I'm letting in these things. And I want to be able to face my death in the body, my actual death, or to be in dreams, or I want to meet this with presence, and I feel like there's not enough presence in me the fear takes over. And this is what I mean of maybe then I make the story. It's just a case of practicing the meditation, doing until one day you will meet it and it will be a different experience. But I just don't hear so many people talk about their experiences of really meeting this terror.
Yeah.
All I know is the story of the Buddha.
Yes.
But I'm curious to hear.
Yes, but everyone that goes deep, almost everyone that I heard of, it will touch these things. And I think that some teachers might be careful with it because they don't want to scare people. There is a very large chance that you will have some real terror, sense of terror in your experience. It's not a great way to sell meditation.
Yeah, this has not been in meditation. Disclaimer. Not yet for me.
But and the two things can also happen at the same time, is my experience. When the ego drops, there can be spacious freedom, so much beauty, so beautiful. And for the ego, it's complete terror. So those things can be parallel, happening simultaneously. There is so much peace, but there is one part that says, oh, shit, we cannot stay here, we have to go back. It will do all this, start to scream, start to push every button that is possible to push, to try every fear and really go into this terror. All those things are possible. But I also had to emphasize that this fear and this terror that you experience in that is not real. it's also just imagination happening.
Yeah. It's like fear of fear also.
Yes. The fear of death is just the fear of death for the ego. It's not that there is any physical death or of the body in that, even though it can very much feel like that. The ego pulls it like, because the ego's whole game is to continue. This is a very good thing to remember with the egoic structure. The whole structure of identity just want to go on. It never wants to say, this is perfect, we're done. It will always say, what is next? Or, this is perfect, but I would like to add, I would like to fix. It can never be content, because that is the nature of the dual, to always feel like something is lacking, because it is not complete. And it will project these feelings of duality on everything. It will say, I will feel complete when I've moved to a better place, when my partner starts to be more like this, and when this and this happens. And it will always make those conditions of how the dual is going into the non-dual. That is what it's longing for, but it's projecting that on the external and says the external world has to change like this, otherwise I cannot be content. And the ego has to really take a back seat when you go into this deep beingness. If you start to say, thank you, thank you, thank you, and you just embrace this moment completely, you thank the moment, you allow it, you just give yourself completely to it. And you notice that there is not even something to give in it. You are it. That kind of deep, wholehearted acceptance is very difficult for the ego to be in. It doesn't like it. It will say why it's wrong. And all kind of wholeheartedness, also this deep sense of peace and love, the ego hates it. And if you do the inquiry into who you are, if you ask the question and you have this part of your practice, the ego will start to hide the idea of I. It don't like to say it anymore, because it does not want to be found out, because it just wants to continue. And this is why the stream of thoughts, 90% of it, it's just that content. The person trying to make sense of the person, and the continuation of ego. That's why when you go into deep meditation, it becomes so quiet. Because 90% of the thoughts are that. The other are just, I'm going to make a cup of tea, or something that's not strongly identified, or that doesn't say anything about you. Did I answer your question, Rebecca? Yes, very good. Someone else? Yes. Talk into this one.
I have touches on the things you just talked about, but sometimes I have like this presence of unpleasant emotions quite steady during a long time in the body. Today was a day like that, and it's I don't know how to because I want to get rid of it.
Yes.
Of course. I want to move on and just but I find it, or I'm thinking of it at least, but how to just accept that a lot of time I actually have an unpleasant feeling in my body, and that's just my life.
Is it there now?
No, a little bit comes and goes.
Yes. Okay.
Like, yeah.
But yes, stay with me. Just sit more comfortably. And just close your eyes. And you can keep the mic. They can hear you. And you just tell me about your experience in this moment.
Well, there is like an intensity in my stomach.
Yes.
And this intensity like travels around in my body, and it has, or I judges it as being like an unpleasant experience.
Yes.
And I think that like that sensation connects me to, or like it alarms me that something is wrong, or
yes. Can you recognize all these feelings? The feeling of being alarmed that something is wrong, this more subtle sensation of unpleasantness, and the center of it in your stomach, you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it traveled up to my my back.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I do recognize it, and then I walk around with this thing moving around.
Yes, and if you stay with it now, just stay with it. You don't have to define it or anything. You just recognize. Like you just told me that you sense how it moves. But you can observe it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So just stay here with it. There will be perhaps an experience of resistance to it. Do you just recognize that resistance? And is there also a field of spaciousness here?
There is also, I think.
Yes.
But there is this battle in between those.
Yes.
In some way, and
yes,
goes
of course.
back and forth.
And in this, did you say there is some space, right? There's some awareness of this whole experience?
Yeah.
Yes. And you just invite all this tension and not nice feelings, you just allow them completely. You invite them. Allow them to happen as they happen. Full acceptance. Just allow them to unfold in this moment as they unfold. You don't try to fix them. You don't have to do anything with them. Just stay with them. If the mind starts chattering and tries to fix things, you just recognize that. You just allow them into this space. No longer trying to keep them at arm's length. You just allow them into this moment. Don't go into the thoughts. You just stay with the body. Is something changing?
It constantly changes.
Yes, constantly changes.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's okay. But yeah.
But is there still resistance?
Yeah, I think that's like the.
Like an underlying current?
Yeah, that it is like a present resistance. But that it's like waves of accepting, and then it comes, going in circles.
Yeah.
And then, and that's the like loop that I walk around in.
What is the loop?
Like, what is the loop?
Yes. That these feelings are happening and you're coming back to be aware of them? Or?
Yeah, that like, unpleasantness. And then acceptance of it. Then some spaciousness, and then some happiness for the spaciousness, and then again. This movement, but then acceptance for the movement of the waves. And then
because this
goes on.
the tension, when it arises again, has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
It is something that is not want to be seen, probably.
Yeah.
And it can be old, and you might also just see the surface of it. There can be more to it. And if you stay with it, and usually what you will just stay with it as much as you are ready for. Then you will duck it again, and then it can keep this circle of happening. But if you bring these feelings into the light of awareness, they will change. And since you say that they come back as a loop, they come again and again, so every time you sit, you invite them.
Yeah.
And if you can find that deep acceptance with it, to invite it fully into that space of being, it cannot stay, it will change. We think that we have to do something with it. The mind tells you, you have to fix this, you have to change it somehow, you have to be more like this, or you have to be more dedicated, or more like this, or do this or that. But the acceptance of it, the light of that acceptance, changes it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think you can be with it?
Yeah, and I'm also like curious to stay with it.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. How do you feel now?
Feel good.
Yeah.
Feel calmer.
Good. Very good.
You talked about music and repairing clocks, and do you think that, because sometimes people say that running is my meditation, being in the forest is my meditation?
Yes, let's talk about it. Everything is meditation. But on the surface level, yes, everything that makes you be in the present moment, okay. But the problem is that I would not really qualify it as meditation because you believe meditation to be an external event, and it is not. Your meditation is not sitting on a pillow, even as meditation. It is you coming back to beingness itself. That is meditation. The act of sitting on a pillow could actually mean nothing. It could just mean that you're sitting on a pillow thinking, philosophizing about meditation, and that would do very little.
So when you lie on your back and watch the stars, and all of a sudden you feel that there's nothing in between you and the stars?
Yes, that is meditation.
Exactly. Okay. And when you dive into the ocean and all those momentary feelings where you actually...
Yes, but we have to understand also that we romanticize these moments as external events connected to meditation. That's why we find them so amazing. And we will say, we have to do that again because it's so beautiful, looking at the sunset. Some people get obsessed by looking at sunsets because in the beauty of the sunset, they have experienced meditation at some point. And then again, they want to re-experience that.
And next time it's going to be in the shower.
Yes.
Because it's not a place.
It's not a place. And if you look for it a lot, you have a lot of expectations, so then it completely goes away. And when you give up, it comes. And that feels so counterintuitive to doing, but that is perfect when it comes to meditation. Because it will always show you, if you're attentive, that it's not a doing. You can only surrender to meditation. You cannot do it. It is this moment. It's already here. On a boring Monday, it's still just now. And we connect it because in the moments that we find beautiful, we say, here is presence. Here is meditation. Here I can accept this moment as it is. But there is nothing that says that not every moment has that quality. Even when the body feels not nice or things are not going according to plans. There is still the beauty of being in all of it. And the more you look at that, the more surprising it gets. That some moments that you would before said, but I feel so stressed in this moment, or this is always terrible. That those moments are still imbibed with the same beingness, the same beauty. And it's also so easy to take these words as that there is a mountain to climb in this. It's like, okay, yeah, I have a little bit of it. It happens sometimes when I do this and that, but there's so much effort needed for it. Most people just automatically take that assumption that I have to be more of a doer to do meditation. But that is not how it comes about. It is has very little to do with that. and a lot to do with the real acceptance of what is. And what do you take yourself to be? This is the key question. Why do you find those moments so beautiful? Because you are absent.
Yeah, exactly. There's no layer between.
People say they paint and they say, I just lose time when I paint. Because they don't think in terms of the person. There is just painting.
Yeah. And you said something beautiful in the beginning about the flow, where things is in their own pace or something like that.
Yes. But and also when we listen to our experience, like this guidance that I did today, you just listen to your experience as it is, not what you want it to be, quiet or perfect meditation or this or that. You just look at what it is, with all its messiness and all its anxieties and worries and all the strangeness and nonsense thoughts and all the things that can come, and you just see what it is, and it just shows you also the natural pace of things. How is your life unfolding? How can you be with it? And what it is, not what you want it to be.
I'm smiling because today was the first time I actually noticed that you talk when we meditate. And I don't know how many times I've been here.
That I what?
I haven't. This is the first time that I noticed that you actually guide us through the meditation by words.
Yes.
And I don't know.
But this is normal. Welcome.
One thing that you said.
Yes, but
one of the first times, but this is actually the first time that I noticed that you actually talked the entire time.
I don't talk about any side subjects. I don't talk about a little bit how my day was. Everything I say is this guidance.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes. And I think that also the first time many people come and listen to me, they think, oh, yes, some kind of meditation philosophy, I can listen to that a few times. And only the ones that realize that all I do is pointing to beingness, with all this guidance, they come again and again and again. And I sometimes tell the same stories. They heard me talk about all kinds of subjects. Some of them have listened to me for years, every week, and never tire. Why is that? That is because they are not listening to the specifics of my words. They're just following the guidance. And with that guidance, it is much easier for them to come to beingness. So they piggyback on me for a while. And that is fine. And also when I notice that people piggyback on me for a long time, I say, you don't have to be dependent on me. You can come to this yourself. If it's so easy so that they say, after 2 minutes coming here, I just come into peace again. If it's so close for you, then it is there. I know it's associated with this setting, with these words, whatever it is. But it is in you. And if something in you recognizes that, then you're on your way to discover it. And I also had the sense at some point that I just felt so dependent on my teachers. I just wanted to go and retreat again, to be invited in that really, really deep beingness. And I remember at one retreat I was at, I was like, but it comes from me. It comes from me. I felt like in the silent retreat shouting, it comes from me.
Like a 4-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you realize it feels, it's so profound and so simple at the same time. And the way we listen, most people don't listen. They listen to something, thinking about the idea of what they're going to say, how they're going to respond to it, how they want to relate to it. They cannot really take it in. There's always a relationship to those words. And after a while, if you go to satsang, that relaxes and you can. But it's so easy to just take it as philosophy or, yes.
To me, I think it's a place and a setup to remember. It's like students have said here before, we go to this silent retreat or we go to whatever people go to. And then we have to go back to our work or school or...
Yes.
And they feel, how am I going to be able to continue now that I feel all this and know all this? I met a woman the other day, she just came back from India and she was so at peace. And she also said, how am I going to be able to stay with this in this society? And I feel that these meetings are like, it's a reminder that, it's a reminder that it's true, the feeling that I have, and that I'm not alone, and that there's a space for that. Yeah.
Yes. And that is, the guidance is very simple in that way. It is just reminding. It has very little to do with anything else. It's just to remember that you are beingness. You are this moment. And all the ideas that you have of where you're going and what you're doing and your situation in your life are just ripples on the surface of this experience. And there's a whole ocean of spaciousness beneath it. And everyone is just talking about the waves.
Yeah, some do.
Yes, or what is happening on the surface. But this spaciousness is it's so easy to forget also, because it just needs some mind noise on the surface to take over, and it feels like it's far, far away. But it's always close. And the more we get reminded, the easier it becomes to come back. And suddenly you come to a point where you notice that you made your home in it. And you will shout like a 4-year-old, I am it!
Yeah.
I am the source of it.
But when you've been in stress mode for years, and you actually forgot that it was there, it's...
Yes, but many people recognize this feeling.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have come to me for the first time or talking to me, and they said, the feeling I have when I listen to you is the same feeling I had as a child.
Exactly.
I was sitting in a meadow looking at the birds, I was doing this or that, and you recognize that feeling from childhood.
Yeah.
So many people have a connection to that somehow, but it feels lost in the past. It is not here, that presence, anymore. And then they get reminded, and for some it's just really, they really wake up to it. Like, wow, yes, this spaciousness, this sense of awe.
It's like those sentences you showed me the other day from WHO.
Yes.
About it's better if you describe it, but it was
Yes.
was
WHO, they have like a list of things that people spiritually need, like, and I saw some I don't remember what he was head of, but something with health in Sweden, some ministry, and he talked about implementing this in Sweden, and he got so much pushback because it like all the qualities of the religions, but also what people need in terms of spirituality, in terms of faith, and in terms of trust, and all these more soft values that are difficult to pinpoint scientifically, but are very much needed because they're in all cultures. And when we live in a society that is very secular, then things like yoga and Vedanta starts to take more space because people still need the spiritual things. But they have a recommendation for those, and I don't remember all of them, but there were like things like trust and awe and...
Yeah, but it was also like magic and... I don't know the English word for undran, but it's like...
awe. Awe. To be in awe of something.
Yeah.
To find something, say wow.
Yeah. And these are actually WHO standards for being a happy, healthy person.
Yes. And I think that from where I came from also, I believed in none of those things. I enjoy that very much now when my own stupidity and my stubbornness in that those things, I understood intuitively that those are important, but there was some part of me resisting that. And at the same time understood this is what life is about. What else is there if there is no quality in being in this moment? If there is no quality in the people that you are meeting? If there is no real intimacy and honesty with them? What is life then?
It's just a trip from A to B.
Yes.
The fastest way.
Or you're trying to play a role and fit in all these things.
He got fired, right, didn't he? The guy who wanted
Yes. But I think it would be unfair not from at least from my point of view to not talk about these things. Because to me I thought it was some little remedy that perhaps would get rid of my anxiety, and it completely changed my life. Completely. That life is something completely different from what I thought it was. That this experience and how it just unfolds and happens, and the possibility of happiness in it that I thought was very much locked to certain things. And suddenly I started to meet people like my Swami, just come from a simple village. He is like the most peaceful and most happy person ever. He has nothing. And he's so content. Such small things. So it's so beautiful to just watch him in his ordinary life, staying at this ashram with him. Him feeding the birds, putting out some seeds in the morning. He does this very, very simple thing. They come and sit in his hand. And he talks to people. A family has lost their uncle and they don't know what to do anymore, and everyone is incomplete. And they come and he comforts them and talks to them. Very ordinary people from the village. And then the next moment comes a couple of monks wanting to discuss Vedanta, deep Vedanta with him. And he just, all day, all these things. Such a simple and profound. And I just got to piggyback on his beingness until overtook me. And I get so many people that ask me things like, I have anxiety, will life ever be better? Will I be stuck in this my whole life? And everything is possible. Everything has this quality of change. Everyone who thinks that they're stuck in their ways and there is no possibilities for them, everything is possible. I cannot emphasize that enough. The limitations is just the ideas of the mind. Beingness is just openness. It just wants to embrace everything. And if you don't have any expectations of the experience, it can show you everything. There is so much space. Things that you thought were impossible is suddenly reality and possibility.
I have a question.
Yes, can you speak into the mic so that people on stream hear?
It's probably just a very simple question, but I mean, how do you do it then without the guidance? You know what I mean? The meditation and the beingness and the trying to be and observe whatever happens with oneself. And I don't know. I just wonder how to sort of do it also, not necessarily with somebody, but just with myself and, I don't know, at home or wherever.
Yes, how you practice it.
Yeah.
Yes. At first, you just have to be established with that beingness. You have to come back to it until it starts to come to you spontaneously. And if your mind is very scattered, if you have a lot of thoughts and it all the time jumps about, you have to initially discipline your mind a little bit. So, for example, keep your attention on one thing, like your breath. So just keep the mind there to make it stable. And then when the mind starts to settle down a bit from that, you start to watch. Like I guided now, you just, in the beginning of the session, I just guided to stay with whatever comes. And you're completely aware, just very attentive, and you just notice thoughts, emotions, whatever comes. And in the beginning it will feel like this is just getting worse and worse. There's so much stuff. But in that awareness, it will start to settle. At first it will be overwhelming, it will feel like a lot. But the more you watch and the more you come back to, every time you get lost in thoughts, you come back to just again watching. The mind will start to settle. And in that settling there will start to be space. And this is the experience of that beingness that we talk about. So there will be spaciousness, and you will start to feel like you can invite emotions and things into this space. Those are the first steps. But you will need guidance, because usually you will be home blind. So you will draw conclusions from your ideas from the past, or whatever your idea of what meditation will bring you, or what it is, and all these things. So it's always good to come to someone with more experience and ask your questions like you're doing now. That is very helpful. And there are some people that they just practice at home, and when they come into a plateau or they come to a wall, they don't know how to continue, that is the only time they come. I have a few of those. That's the only time they come, and otherwise they prefer to practice themselves. And the other people do their practice here, listening to me, coming back to beingness, after 10 times realizing that that is what's going on here. And then you, as I jokingly say, you piggyback ride on me for a while. You just come here, you connect into that beingness, and you get into that. Mm. And then when you do your own practice, it will be also easier to be with all your emotional content, especially, and also thoughts. So those are the steps. But if you're unsure and if you feel new to these kind of things, just come. I'm here every Wednesday. And like this weekend, I have a couple of classes to go more in depth. And we will do some other meditations and things that will shake things about. So it can also take you deeper to understand new things. So that is the way. But as I said, in the beginning it's difficult because the mind is so prone to its things. It has so many automatic, reactive, triggering things to deal with. And the more you practice, the easier it will get. So I just want to be very realistic that it's a bit challenging at first. Do you practice yoga or something like?
I used to.
You used to, okay.
Yeah. Because
all those kind of practices, if you do anything physical, and there is a intent to be aware in that, that's always very, very helpful. Because most people are not very aware of their body. Mm. There's so much in their mind and triggered by their emotions that they're almost never in the experience of the body. And Sanna reminds me sometimes of this. Markus, people are not in the body. You have to tell them to that is important. And yoga is very good with that aspect of it. You feel how the stretch is, what is happening, the activation of the body, all these things. So that is a good preparation for meditation. But it's never, you can always just start. Just sit and just recognize what is here. And if the mind is too jumpy, just be with the breath until it comes down a little bit. That is like step one. And then you come back here and you report to me what's happening. I'm here for your guidance, to guide you in this. If you, any obstacle, any things that you also, sometimes it's just that you're with your stuff in your mind and it feels so big that just letting it out in a safe space like this is just so relieving. You're stuck on something and just to tell it to the group and that's already done there. Because most people think, I am struggling in my life, in my situation, I feel like this, and everyone else seems happy and content with their lives. And that is just not true. It's just that so few people talk very openly about their experience and how they feel. Do you know where to start now?
Yes.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Very good. We usually sing something to close. So Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. May everyone experience peace, the inherent peace of this moment. May everyone experience the bliss that that awareness brings. May everyone move from the external to the internal to show that you, your practice, is the same. That you and this moment is the same. May everyone find the peace that is always here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.